Hello and welcome to Study 10M, and today we will be exploring the basics of world geography. In previous lesson we talked about atmosphere and structure of the atmosphere, and today we will learn weather and climate. Weather is the description of the atmospheric conditions of a particular place at a particular time for a short period of time. Climate is the composite or integrated picture of the weather conditions over a long period of time. Atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure at any point on the surface of the earth due to the weight of the carbon of air above that point. Air is an extremely compressible gas having its own weight. The pressure exerted by air due to its weight is called atmospheric pressure on the Earth's surface. Influence on the atmospheric pressure. Altitude. Air pressure increases when air descends due to the decrease in volume. Temperature. The pressure of air rises when its temperature falls. The global pressure belts. Equatorial low pressure belt. It is located on either side of the geographical equator in a zone extending between 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south. It is thermally induced because of the intense heating of the ground surface by the almost vertical sun rays. It represents the zone of convergence of northeast and southeast trade winds. This convergence zone is characterized by light and favorable winds, and because of the frequent calm condition, this belt is called as belt of calm or doldrums. Doldrums. Subtropical high pressure belt. It extends between 30 to 35 in both the hemispheres. This zone of high pressure is also called as hot latitude. It is then dynamically induced as it owes its origin to a rotation of the earth and sinking and setting down of winds. Subpolar low pressure belt. It extends between 60 to 65 in both the hemisphere. The low pressure belt does not appear to be thermally induced because there is low temperature throughout the year, and as such there should have been high pressure belt instead of low pressure belt. Thus it is dynamically induced. Polar high pressure belt. High pressure persists at the poles throughout the year because of the of very low temperature all the year round. Measurement and units of the atmospheric pressure. The mercury barometer is standard instrument for measuring atmospheric pressure. Standard sea level pressure is 76 km of 29.92 inches on this scale. Aurica atmospheric pressure 1013.25 millibars. Isoplate, line drawn on Mars along which the value of a particular phenomenon is uniform. Some important isoplates. Winds. Wind is the movement of air caused by uneven heating of the earth by the sun. Wind system. The air moves from high pressure to low pressure. The imaginary line joining the point having some pressure is called isobar. The winds blowing parallel to the isobar, generally at the height of 600 meter, is called geotropic winds. The factors that control the air motion as follows: pressure gradient, rotation of earth, and centrifugal force. Winds, directions, and related laws. The Coriolis force generated due to the rotation of the earth acts as a deflective force to the wind direction. Because of the Coriolis force, all the winds are deflected to the height in the northern hemisphere, while they are deflected to the left in the southern hemisphere with respect to the rotating earth. This is referred to as Farrell's law. The Coriolis force is absent along the equator but increases progressively towards the poles. Primary movement: trade winds, polar winds, westerlies. Secondary movement: cyclones, tropical and temperate thunderstorms and tornado. Anticyclone, seasonal wind. Tertiary movement. Primary wind movements: permanent winds, trade winds. Trade winds, they blow from the subtropical high pressure belt to equatorial low pressure belt in the tropic between 30 degree north and 30 degree south latitude. They blow as the NE trades in the northern hemisphere and as the SE trades in the southern hemisphere. Westerlies. They blow from the subtropical high pressure belt to the subpolar low pressure belt in the temperature latitude between 30 degree and 60 degree on either side of the equator. They are more constant and stronger in the southern hemisphere because there are no large land masses to interrupt them. In places, they become so strong that these winds are known as the roaring 40s or the brave west winds and the furious 50s. Polar winds. They blow from the polar high pressure belt to low subpolar low pressure belt between latitude 60 degree and the poles on both sides of the equator. These winds blow from the east to form the polar easterlies. Secondary wind movements, periodic winds. Cyclones. Cyclones are the center of low pressure belt having increasing pressure to outward and closed air circulation from outside towards the center low pressure in such a way that air blows inward in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Air blows inward in clockwise directions in the southern hemisphere. Cyclones are mainly of two types: tropical cyclones, temperate cyclones. Tropical cyclones. They are found in the trade wind belt between 8 degree to 20 degree north and south. They travel from east to west in easterly wind belt. Tropical cyclones are much smaller with a diameter of about 200 to 500 km. They are formed only in the summer. Temperate cyclone normally found between 30 degree to 65 degree north and south in the subpolar frontal zone where cold polar air mass meets the warm tropical mass. They move from west to east embedded in the westerly wind belt. They form over much large area with the diameter 300 to 1500 km. Temperature cycles are frontal in nature. They are formed either over oceans or over the continents. Anticyclones. They are the wind system which has the highest air pressure at the center and lowest at the outer margins, surrounded by circular isobars where wind blows from center to outward in clockwise direction in northern hemisphere, from center to outward in anti-clockwise direction in southern hemisphere. They are generally associated with rainless fair weather, and that is why they are called weatherless phenomena. Thunderstorm. Thunderstorms are local storms characterized by swift upwards movements of air and heavy rainfall with cold thunder and lightning. Structurally, thunderstorms consist of several consecutive cells which are characterized by strong drift of air. Tornadoes are very strong tropical cyclones of smaller size. The Mississippi Valley, they are called twisters. Tertiary wind movement, local winds. Chinook, hot dry wind in Rockies are also called snow eater. Foehn, hot dry wind in Alps. Khamsin, hot dry wind in Egypt. Sirocco, hot moist wind from Sahara to Mediterranean Sea. Solano, hot moist wind from Sahara towards Iberian Peninsula. Hot dry wind blowing outwards from the interior of West Africa, also called Junior Doctor. Boro, cold dry wind blowing outwards from Hungary to the north of Italy. Mistral, very cold wind which blows down from the Alps over France. Punas, very cold dry wind blowing down towards the western sides of Andes. Brickfielder, hot wind in Australia. Burga, cold wind in Russian tundra. Levanter, cold wind in Spain. Northwester, hot wind in New Zealand. Santa Ana, hot wind in Southern California in USA. Climatic winds are periodic winds. Land and sea breeze and the monsoon winds are typical examples of periodic winds. Jet stream, the strong and rapidly moving circumpolar westerly air circulation in a narrow belt of a few hundred kilometers width in the upper limit of troposphere is called jet stream. The extent of the jet streams narrows down during the summer season because of their northward shifting, while these extend up to 20 degree north latitude. Humidity. Humidity of air refers to the contents of the water vapor present in the air at the particular time and place. Humidity is measured by an instrument called hygrometer. Absolute humidity, the total weight of the moisture content per volume of air at definite temperature is called absolute humidity. Specific humidity, the mass of the water vapor in grams content in a kilogram of air, and it represents the actual moisture present in a definite air. Relative humidity, it is the ratio of the amount of water vapor actually present in the air having definite volume and temperature due to maximum amount the air can hold. Condensation is the change of physical state of the matter from gaseous phase into liquefied phase and is the reverse of vaporization. When the relative humidity reaches 100% of the air is completely saturated and the air temperature is said to be dew point. Smog is a form of fog that occurs in area where the air contains a large amount of smoke. Fog is made from the droplets of water suspended in the lower layer of the atmosphere. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to Study 10M for more exciting geography lessons. Thanks for watching. And if you have any question, then comment below.